everyone, it's Scott here from CanGeek Games and Collectibles. Welcome again to the CanGeek Games and Collectibles YouTube channel and to episode 2 of CanGeek's Fate Accelerated game as fate would have it. We are once again joined by Chris, Anthony, and Greg. And yep, say hello.
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 Hi.
And we are going to jump right into, as fate would have it, episode 2, day 1. Now, actually, before we do, I just want to do a little bit of house cleaning or housekeeping that should have been done at the end of last session. Specifically, Greg, I want to talk about your character for a moment. You guys ran away from you ran away from a gun chase or a gunfight in a vehicle, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Now, when you drove away from that vehicle, we had you document your car as an aspect on your character sheet. I actually would like to change that aspect just slightly.
Sure.
We won't call the car an aspect. Based on your character's background, I feel it's fair to say that your character has probably had some form of aggressive driving training or defensive driving training. I would almost call it combative driving. Would you agree with that?
Sure. I'm easy.
Okay. So you can call
Or combat driving, yeah. Sure.
Absolutely. You can call it combat driving because it gives you the advantage of using it both as a aggressive or defensive aspect somewhere down the road. Okay. So consider how you may want to incorporate that as an aspect and tie it into one of your approaches. Okay. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it right this second, but just think about what approach you would tie it into. Now, guys, one more thing very quickly before we got started. At the end of last week's session, we could have actually called that a milestone, okay? I would have considered last week's session, the completion of it, as a minor milestone. So I'm actually going to tell you, you right now do have the option to switch the rating of any two of your approaches, so the numbers that you've assigned to your approaches. You have the option to rename one aspect that is not your high concept, okay? You also have the option to exchange one stunt for a different stunt or choose a new stunt and adjust your refresh if you already have 3 stunts. Now, just to be clear so you guys know as well, your refresh represents the amount of fate points that you have to use in the game. So if a situation arises where you need to spend a fate point, that's when you would turn to your refresh. So I do need to ask at this point, does anyone want to currently take advantage of any of the minor milestones?
I'm good.
Chris? You're good?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, fair enough. So, then with that bit of housekeeping put aside, we've reworked Greg's character's aspect just slightly, and we have done a little bit of housekeeping. So, let's jump right into episode 2, day 1 of As Fate Would Have It. Now, last week, as we concluded the first night, there was a discussion taking place about whether or not Heinrich and Pete were sharing a domicile together. I would just like to confirm whether or not you two gentlemen have considered that and whether or not you are going to, in fact, become roomies.
So, let me do this. Okay, Peter. I have a 23-room mansion that I don't live in. Would you like to live in this 23-room mansion and pay me rent?
Sure. Sounds good. Actually, kind of goes with Pete's background as well. Actually, Scott, I sent you an email with his background
Yep.
to the CanGeek
Keep,
email.
keep that.
But yeah, that would actually work.
Wonderful.
Keep that
Wonderful.
handy.
Rent is $2,000 a month.
Yeah,
All right.
I owe you. I owe you.
All right.
Okay.
So,
So I will not be living with you. There will be, I will have a room in the house, but I may not be in there all the time because, I'm usually working on something. So chances are I'll be in the outbuilding, the servants' quarters that's just out in the other side of the lot. So if you need me, there's always that intercom. I'll pick up. No problem.
Awesome.
okay. So
Excellent.
It's agreed upon that Heinrich and Pete are sharing a space together. So Pete has driven Maya home and dropped her off.
Bye, Maya.
No, not yet.
Now, before we move into day one, is there
Maya,
any?
wait. Maya, would you
Me
like to
too.
move into this mansion that I have?
No, I already have my own. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
So
it's
now that
okay.
now
Rent
that
is
we're
cheap.
now that we're dropping Maya off at her place of residence, Pete, are you driving away with Heinrich, or is there any housekeeping that the characters want to take care of before they determine how to proceed with the information they have?
Well, hold
I
on.
think we're good.
Hold on, Pete. You're not going anywhere. I need an explanation. What the heck just happened? Why were we all getting shot at in your vehicle? What
Okay,
was going on?
so it sounds to me, Maya, like you are trying to invoke an aspect.
Yes.
Is that what you're attempting to do here? Invoke an aspect?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
I'm basically
so
trying to clarify why we were getting shot at. We thought we were getting dropped off
okay,
at home,
so
safe. But we're not.
how are you going to approach this? Like you've got your list of approaches on your character sheet. So my question for you would be, are you going to carefully ask Pete that question? Are you going to be try and be clever about it and get an answer out of him? Are you
Oh, please.
forcefully?
You're in the back seat. You have your purse, right? Just
Yeah.
grab the strap of your purse, throw it around his neck. Pull up against the back of the seat. You know, and
Okay.
But
tell him to tell you.
Oh,
that's
okay.
being forceful, and that's not a strong aspect
Okay.
on my
So
end.
my
Oh,
question becomes,
No, I'm not.
you want to invoke an aspect here. You're looking to get an answer as to why someone just tried to take your head off. Are you going like what approach are you going to tie that into?
Uh, Carefully.
Okay.
Carefully.
So
I'm gonna. Well, kind of.
your score for careful, I just want to confirm this. Give me 1 minute. I have your character sheet here. Your careful score is +2 to whatever you roll. Now, um, we're actually gonna consider this combat. If Pete wants to consider it combat. So the question becomes, Maya is going to try and invoke an aspect on you, Pete. She wants to know why, as soon as you received a phone call, people were shooting at the three of you in your car. Okay? Um, if you choose to allow her to invoke that aspect, she will lose a fate point, but that fate point will come directly to you.
Mhm.
However, if you want to try and guard your secret, then we will consider this, we'll consider this a dice roll. And you can determine, she's going to carefully try and get an answer out of you. I would, in this particular case, I would say it will be based on her careful score because that's just what she said, and I'll let you determine what approach you are going to use to try and deflect her questioning. Either that, or you can just, tell her.
Actually, I wouldn't deflect her question. I know I just answered it. Now, just to go back, I forgot to ask you this, but okay, the guy who called on the phone, what did he say again?
So you checked your voicemail as soon as you got
Yeah,
back into the car after leaving Clint's Cafe.
yeah.
You answered the phone, or sorry, you checked the voice, or sorry, again, you checked your phone for text messages and
Yeah.
voicemails. There was a voicemail waiting there. It was about a 15-second voicemail. The guy on the other end of the phone said, "We found you, you bastard. You thought you were going to get away from us. You were wrong. You're a dead man." And no sooner did you hear that message than the front passenger side of your vehicle became riddled with gunshots. So you threw the car in reverse and you hauled ass to get out of that parking lot. And as you were whipping down the street, they took shots at the back of the car, narrowly missing Maya's character.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you ask me, I'm just going to flat out tell you. So basically, well, after we leave, okay, basically, I'm being hunted down by an ex. I would say, how can I say this? An ex-associate I used to work with. So this is going back a couple of years. This happened a couple of years ago, but this guy wants me dead. So, and he blackmailed me for a job gone wrong overseas.
So why am I finding myself in this position when I don't even know anything is going
Because you're in
on?
my vehicle, so.
Yeah.
But even before that, the warehouse, we all woke up in this weird warehouse surrounded by dead bodies.
With no memory whatsoever of how any of you
Yeah.
got there. And up until waking up in that warehouse, none of you know who each other is. Like
Yeah.
you did not recognize each other at all. So yeah,
And the guy from the cafe, when he was, he gave us a name who we were working for, right?
yes,
I thought I
Joseph
wrote it.
Joseph Uzma.
Okay.
And when you pressured Clint for information on Mr. Uzma, he deflected the questioning and said, everyone who knows who Joseph Uzma is. He would not provide you with any information beyond that.
So we
Um,
still don't know.
no, at this point, all you know is that this Joseph Uzma guy showed up, found you in that warehouse, got you out the back door. One of you saw over the corner of your shoulder as you were rounding the corner a bright flash of light. And then when you exited into this alleyway, you were confronted by the police. Two of Uzma's mooks killed the two cops that confronted you and ushered you into this limo. Now, it also brings up the question of what happened in that limo because as you were being interrogated by Uzma, demanding answers to know where this mysterious woman is and where his property is, you couldn't provide him with an answer, and somehow he rendered you unconscious again. The next time you woke up was, down the street from Crazy Clint's Cafe, and you were told to get out of the limo and go find his merchandise. So there's a lot of mystery around Uzma. You don't know anything about him at this point, and you have no answers being provided by anyone. So the question becomes, Maya, Pete has provided you with a very loose explanation about why you guys were just shot at. He said that, he did a job for someone overseas a couple years ago. The job went wrong. The person that employed him is now blackmailing him. And Pete, are we saying that you're being blackmailed and you're not paying up? Is that why
Yeah.
they're now trying to take your head off?
Okay, so basically, I was going to say, might as well tell everyone here. I'll just go to right now. Okay, so basically, I was hired with three other guys to basically do like a bodyguard job in Egypt for this like big .com guy. Anyhow, the one guy, a guy named Brian Landry, he was sort of the guy who set the thing up because we worked together in the past. He actually turned around, assassinated the .com guy, killed the two other guys working, robbed the .com guy of some like big company secrets, I managed to get away, but then he managed to have the whole thing blamed on me. So, besides, I can't find him. He's been trying to track me down to basically kill me. And God knows the guy who was killed, if he has hired, I have a feeling that Brian's still working for him, and he's been paid again to have me killed or brought in.
Okay, so to be clear on this, then, what we're going to say here is Pete was hired to protect this .com guy in Egypt along with three other operatives. The guy that did all the hiring, Brian Landry, double-crossed everyone, killed the guy they were supposed to be protecting himself, and then tried to pin the murder on Pete and the other two guys. Is that
The
what
other
I'm
two guys were
understanding?
killed at the time
The
that
other two
happened.
guys were killed, so you're the only one that got away,
Yeah,
and now he's trying to get rid of you as a loose connection.
yeah.
Okay, so once you're 6 feet under, he feels he doesn't have to worry anymore about the truth coming out about what he really did.
And I'm sure he's being paid handsomely well.
Yeah, you know what? I would say that that's a fair assumption that if Brian got away with this, originally, he turned around and he went, no, no, it was this Pete guy, and maybe now the family of this .com billionaire has hired Brian even more money to go and take your head off. Sound right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, fair enough. So Maya, Pete has just explained that story to you in front of your residence. How does that story leave your character feeling about whether or not she wants to work with Heinrich and Pete going forward?
I think I need a strong drink.
Fair enough. So, Pete, you have just gained a fate point for Maya invoking that aspect. Maya,
Okay.
your character has just lost a fate point. Okay, so please make note of that. Okay,
Okay.
I
now,
don't have to keep track of where I get the fee.
no, you just
Okay.
need to know that you have them. The fate
Yeah.
points can be used for uh, different things in the game. One of the big things they can be used for, in my opinion, is when you find yourselves in situations of, conflict, the fate points can also be used to offset damage taken or, consequences.
Yeah.
So remember that compelling or invoking aspects have different purposes behind them. And, sometimes they benefit you in terms of you gaining fate points as well. Okay? So, Maya, moving forward, it's the end of the evening. Pete's dropped you off at your place of residence. Him and Heinrich are about to head back to Heinrich's 12-room mansion, where,
23.
pardon me, 23 room,
23.
where Pete has more or less the run of the place because Heinrich has strangely chosen to live in the servants' quarters. Um, at this point,
I need some supplies before we go home.
at this point,
It's
there
actually
are
his lab, I think.
fair enough. There are definite questions about what you have found yourself in the middle of. Your character is going to go inside and have a really stiff drink. Will you reconnect with Heinrich and Pete in the morning?
Yes, I will, because I
Okay.
am somehow involved and I still don't understand how.
Okay. Fair enough. So, moving on to day one. The next morning arrives. It's about 10:30 in the morning. The three of you have agreed to meet up in front of Maya's place, where the previous night ended. I would say that Heinrich and Pete row on up in Pete's semi bullet ridden Land Rover. And you remember that the previous evening when you met with Clint Dufresne, Maya's character realized that this name, we're going to pronounce it Squid, um, invoked a memory in her. She's not completely sure where she's heard that name before, but the previous evening she realized that this required some research to be done. So at some point you are going to have to take a trip to, a library that will have, a vast set of resources behind it so that Maya can, try and figure out why this name means something to her. So it's 10:30, day number 1. How do you guys begin the day?
Vodka.
Library.
Coffee, coffee, and my
Yeah, coffee and
laptop,
library.
and looking up Joseph Uzma.
Okay, so I tell you where we're gonna start here. We're going to start with Pete. So Pete, how are you going to look up the name Joseph Uzma?
Google.
You're gonna Google
Do
Joseph
that.
Uzma.
Yep.
Okay, give me one quick second here. I just want to confirm something. Okay, Pete.
Yep.
We are going to do a roll for careful. Okay.
Yep. So that's 2 dice
Yep.
plus.
Um, I need to know what your careful row is plus any pluses you get for it.
Okay, so my careful's 2, so I just roll the 2, right?
Well, you're gonna roll the 4 dice, right?
Oh yeah, that's right, because it's always 4 dice,
Yep.
then plus
You
2. Okay.
exactly. You roll the 4 dice, and you determine what your actual row is based on your dice roll plus whatever your careful is as a bonus.
Ooh. Ooh, that's an awful roll.
Whoops.
Um,
Now, I'm
nothing.
nothing. Okay.
I rolled 5 3s and 1 2.
Okay. So
That's awesome.
I'm going to give you a choice here. You can either spend a fate point and add +2 to that row, or we can go with what your row is right now and move forward.
I will go with what my role is right now, just because of what I'm doing.
Okay, fair enough. So
Yeah, just what I'm
you
doing.
Google Joseph Uzma. You do learn a very limited bit of information. Joseph Uzma is a European philanthropist who emerged onto the scene about 15 or 20 years ago. Um, the man is renowned for dumping a large amount of money on charitable organizations, but he seems to have a penchant for supporting organizations that do research into ancient societies. Okay, he's big into um, learning about the past and the cultures that shaped the world we live in today. So this is all common knowledge. He supports children's charities. He supports uh, big colleges and universities. But where the colleges and universities are concerned, his money always seems to go to history and archaeology departments. And that's the bulk of the information that you can find about Joseph Uzma online.
Okay.
All right, so Heinrich, you started your day with a good stiff drink. Where do we go from here?
To the second drink.
Let's see. Well, first thing I'm going to do is let's go to the university library.
Okay.
You know,
Are you going on your own or are you going with Pete? Is Pete gonna drive you there, or is Pete?
no, I can walk.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Heinrich heads to the local university library. Are you looking for anything particular at the university library, Heinrich?
Yes, I'm looking for information on archaeology, skiing.
Okay.
In addition to that, I'm looking for records of Uzma and this Clint guy. See if they exist anywhere.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So you get to the library. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't find much. Okay. You definitely do some digging. You find basically the same
It's
information.
frozen.
You find the same information about Joseph Uzma that Clint found via Google. It's all matters of public record. In terms of research into Clint Dufresne, the only information you're going to find is also a matter of public record. Clint is a cafe owner who's been in operation for about 30 years. Okay. In terms of the name you're researching, uh, Squid, um, you really don't find much, but because archaeology isn't your forte, you really don't actually know where to start on that. And you realize as you're looking that maybe having the archaeologist with you may have been a better idea. Let's move on to Maya. Maya, so you started your day, I believe you said you started it with a cup of coffee. Um,
Yep.
I would say it's about 11 o'clock now. You've had your cup of coffee. You realize as you look out your window that it doesn't look like you're going to get picked up by um, Pete and Heinrich. So, what do you do from there?
I will go to the library on my own.
All right. So, you head to the university library. Okay. When you get to the university library, you will find, as you're walking up and down the aisles looking for the information you're trying to find, that you will bump into Heinrich in one of the stacks of books. Now, we're going to come back to you in a minute. I want to go back to Pete here for a minute. So,
Yep.
Pete, it's about 11:30 now, okay? There doesn't seem to be any movement from Heinrich. So, what do you do at this point? Like, you guys left the impression with Maya yesterday that you would be reconnecting today to try and figure out what you've found yourselves involved in. Um, so you're hanging out in Heinrich's 23-room mansion, and Heinrich hasn't surfaced whatsoever. What do you do at this point?
Well, I was going to say he must have a phone with him, so I'll just probably send him a text.
Nope, no phone.
Heinrich is shaking his head. Apparently, his character
I
doesn't
don't
own a
have a.
phone. Yeah, he apparently his character likes to live off the grid.
Okay. Um, After I spend some time searching and everything, I actually go out back to this. Actually, I try to ring him through the intercom. Heinrich, Heinrich.
Static.
Mm-mm.
Okay, if that doesn't work, then I'm actually going to go out and go to the servants' quarters.
Okay. So you make your way across this lush, beautifully maintained green landscape to this tiny little house that is hidden amongst a overgrowth of trees and foliage. It almost looks like something out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Like this, if you didn't know this house was there, you could easily pass right by it. So you get to the house. Once you get to the house, what do you do?
Knock on the door.
Okay,
I try to open it.
okay. Heinrich, is the door unlocked?
Nope. It is very much locked.
Okay. Pete, you look around the house. Do you see any way whatsoever that you could gain access to Heinrich's dwelling
Um, if
without
he's
him?
not here and I can't,
Yeah, without him knowing, for example, that you shattered his window to get in there.
if he's not answering or anything like that, I'm not going to push it. So
Okay.
if he's not here now, he'll be back later. So
Okay. So
I'll just have to wait.
I would say at this point it is probably about 11:30 or 12 o'clock. You've been up for a couple hours. Heinrich is not around, and Maya, you think, is still waiting for that pickup. So where do you proceed to from here?
Okay, so Maya was waiting for us to pick her up at a certain time.
Well, the impression you
What?
left Maya with last night was that the three of you were going to reconvene today
Thank
and
you.
go
Sure.
to the library to try and figure out what the hell is going on.
I've already left for the library.
Yeah, but Pete won't know that. So
Okay.
at this point,
Hold on.
Pete is still hanging out at Heinrich's place. Heinrich has snuck out on his own to go to the library. Maya got sick and tired of waiting for the two of you, so she went to the library herself and bumped into Pete there.
Okay, would Maya have a
Bumped
phone
into
on her?
Heinrich there.
Or, sorry, bumped into Heinrich there. So, Maya, Pete is asking a question. Would your character have a cell phone on her?
My cell phone was damaged in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have
So
one
no,
either.
she doesn't have a phone either.
Okay, what time was I supposed to pick her up?
So there was no agreed upon time, but I'll put it to you this way. You're looking at your watch now, very nice,
Oh shit.
heavily designed military issued watch. Okay. And you're realizing that it's about noon hour now. And you know these libraries close around 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually go swing by her place first.
Okay. So you
See if she's there.
perfect. So you swing by Maya's place. Maya, do you live in a house or do you live in an apartment?
A house.
Okay. So you swing by Maya's place, Pete. You're parked in front of her house. Do you get out of the car and walk up, or do you
Yeah.
start pounding on your horn?
No, I get up and walk in.
Okay. So you get up,
Walk up to her, knock on the door.
you walk up to her front door, you knock on the door. Ding dong. Nope. No one's home.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the library then.
All right. So Pete drives over to the university library. When you get there, you walk in. It's this giant room full of books. There's a big reception desk in the middle where the librarian sits to, direct traffic for people. This is where you'll find this subject, that subject. So your typical library, but on a much larger scale. Actually, I would almost attribute it to, say, the New York library system. Like if you've ever seen, movies of libraries in New York, they're big, fast. That's what I'll describe this library as. Okay. So you walk in. You're surrounded by, people at tables doing their various studying and working on their various projects. and there's this older woman sitting at the desk. She sees you walk in. She looks up and catches your eye and she says, "Yeah, I've been doing this job for a really long time. And generally, you get a feel for people and you can tell who belongs here and who doesn't. You don't look like you belong here, or at least you don't look like you know what you're here for. How can I help you, sir?"
Well, I don't belong here, but I do know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a couple friends, so have a great day. And I leave and start walking.
Okay. So, um, you start wandering around the library.
Mhm.
I'd say that it takes you about 35 to 40 minutes going up and down the aisles before you finally come across Maya. Okay? At this point, Maya is sitting there on the floor uh, very quietly. She's got like 5 or 6 books open in front of her. These books look old and they look weathered. Like they have been to hell and back, is what these books look like. Now, the two of you are together. Maya, what are you researching specifically, please?
Well, I'm trying to research if there's any connection between the Squid woman or John Uzma and archaeology.
Okay.
He he does invest in archaeology.
Okay, fair enough. That's
Trying
perfect. Now, Heinrich, at some point during the time that they're there, okay, I would say now you're coming up closer to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You finally stumble across Maya and Pete mingled among the stacks of books. Okay, Pete is standing there. He looks bored out of his mind. Okay,
What
uh,
took you so long?
Maya,
yes.
after what feels like an eternity of digging
Okay.
through books, you think
You know,
that
it's almost like he's been 20 minutes or something.
yeah, you think you have finally found something relevant to this name Squid. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what I need you to do is I need you to row your clever approach and let me know what number you come up with.
What's so funny?
Squid. That's not how
Squid.
you pronounce it.
Well, you pronounce it any way you want, but that's okay.
Ah,
I'm going with Squillid.
Skeed.
Oh,
Skeed.
Squid.
Yeah, we'll go with Skeed. Skeed works.
Squid. Okay, sure.
Either way, row your clever approach. I need to know what number you come up with. Remember to add
Okay.
your clever bonus to whatever you row.
Okay,
Boy,
so I've got
I really need
clever is
alcohol at this
three.
point.
Yes. Clever is three. So let's see Adam. I have four minuses.
All right,
So
so we're operating
Really?
off a clever of free. However,
but does that not
well,
take my clever
no,
down?
nope, not at
To,
all. This is a bonus, okay, to whatever your
okay.
current row
So
is.
I'm not getting a bonus.
No,
I'm
now
surrounded by
now
nincompoops.
having said that though, you have a choice. You can either accept
Mhm.
your row for what it is, okay,
Okay.
Burn a fate.
or you can burn a fate point to add a +2 to your row.
Okay, so on a plus two, then would give me five for my clever and
So your row rate now was -2, okay? So your -2 plus 3 for your clever approach means that your row rate now is a 1. You've rolled 1. So you can either burn a fate point or you can accept the row for what it is, but if you burn the fate point, you can Give me 1 second. I want to confirm one thing here. I believe that you can actually add +2 to it. I just want to be sure of this. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Technical difficulties are so much fun.
Yes, they are.
That's
Well, what about, can I not use my stunts?
pardon me?
Can I not use my stunts?
What's your stunt?
I get a +2 in quickly evading situations that threaten my survival. I'm doing this research because I'm in a situation that's threatening my survival. I just got shot at.
No.
No?
I would consider that more of a physical stunt as opposed to a mental stunt. Okay?
Oh, you mean like when I got used as a human shield?
Yeah, when
Oh,
Heinrich decided to use you to make sure he didn't get
okay.
shot.
All
Okay, so give me
right.
one moment. I just want to
Okay.
confirm something.
Yeah.
So you can either add +2 to bonus to your row, or you can re-roll the dice. Um, so you can either accept the row for what it is, which is 1 right now, or you can add +2, or you can re-roll all the dice. But that's only if you're going to use the fate point.
Sorry, if I'm going to use the fate point is when I accept the,
Yeah.
the role
So
as a.
so what we're doing right now is we're discovering an aspect, okay, which is what's about to happen. You can either accept your row, which you rode, which was 1 after you've take everything into consideration, or you
Mhm.
can burn a fate point and add +2 to your row, which means you'll get a free, or you can choose to re-roll the dice. Again, that will still cost you a fate point.
I'm going to reroll.
Okay, so burn the fate point. You're now down to 1 fate point for this game session. Okay, and
Okay.
then you can re-roll your dice and add your clever to whatever you roll.
I have a blank, a minus, and two pluses. So that's
So
one.
4.
That's
So
four.
the plus and the minus cancel each other out. The plus and the blank gets you a +1. So your clever is free. You rolled 4. Perfect. So
Okay.
um, here's what you discover. Okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
You discover that that name represents one of the three Norns in Norse mythology, and they live at the Well of Urid in Asgard.
Erd.
Even
Well of
better.
Erd.
Their names are Erd, which means what once was, Verdali, what is coming into being, and Squid or Skilled, what shall be. These three Norns are the goddesses of fate. They spend most of their time spinning the threads of life to decide the fate of all living beings. Uh, they do this by sitting at the root of the Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Well, it's great that Heinrich is here to pronounce this.
Yes,
Anyways,
very nice.
they do this by sitting at the root of the Yggdrasil and weave the fate of every living being into a web of thread. The three Norns start every morning by carrying water from
From
Urid's
the well of
well
Erd.
and pour it over the tree, which is considered the tree of life. This is very important to keeping the tree green and healthy.
The world tree, yes.
So
Yes.
that is what you discover when you research this woman's name.
Hmm.
So you've discovered that. Do you share this information with Heinrich and Pete?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Since we're in this together, we have to figure it out.
Okay, so Maya explains to you why the name sounds so familiar to her. Um, what next, gentlemen?
I don't care.
Hold
Heinrich?
on.
Heinrich standing there. I don't really care.
This does not affect me.
Pete.
I was going to say we're kind of at a dead end right now.
Okay, fair enough.
This is only a myth.
Fair enough.
So,
So the three of you are standing there poring over this myth, trying to figure out exactly why this is even important to you, okay? At which point the phone in Pete's pocket begins to vibrate.
Good. Good.
I pick it up.
Okay? On the other end of the phone, Pete, you hear a voice.
I was going to say you cut out right when you.
Okay. On the other end of the phone, when you answer your phone, Pete, you hear a voice. The voice says, "It's been 12 hours. Have you found her? Where? Where is it?" You recognize the voice immediately to be that of Joseph Uzma.
Okay, you're cutting out about every 5-10 seconds.
Okay.
I bet.
So, Pete, you answer the phone. On the other end of the phone, you hear a voice. The voice immediately says to you, "It's been over 12 hours. Have you found her? Where is my merchandise?" You immediately recognize the voice to be the voice of Joseph Uzma.
Boy, I have it on speaker, so these other guys.
Okay,
oh, we
fantastic.
can hear it.
Fantastic. So the three of you
We
hear.
found her. We found her in the book. But we have no idea what you want.
Is this an artifact that referred to as Skuld? Is that what you're looking for?
Uzma responds. Firstly, he responds to Heinrich. "Herr Doctor, do not trifle with me. You know what I am looking for. And if you are incapable of providing me with what I want, then you no longer serve a purpose to me. And that will not
Okay, bye-bye.
and that will not be good for you. All of you seem to forget what I know about you will ruin you. And what I will do with that information, if you do not find what is mine, I will ruin you. Stop wasting my time.
Then stop wasting
And
hours. Goodbye.
fine. Pete, Heinrich reaches over to hang up the phone on Uzma. How do you react? Do you allow him to do it, or
No,
you don't do
no,
it?
I pull it back.
Okay, so you pull the phone back. Okay.
Okay, so who's not going to answer my question? I asked if this was an artifact that it's based on the mythology we just read about.
Okay. Perfect.
I pass the phone to you.
I need to know if that's what we're looking for. That's what we
Perfect.
need to know.
So he hears that question. Now, before I respond to that, I need to know what each one of your clever approaches is, please.
Well, mine is a 3.
Mine's a 1.
Okay. So Anthony, your approach is a free, and Chris's approach is a free. Give me one moment here. I also need to know what your quick approaches are, please. Between Anthony and Chris, your quick approaches. Do you have a 2?
I have a 1.
Okay, perfect. So the doctor hears Uzma hears your question, Maya.
Okay.
But before answering it, he's still a little pissed off with Heinrich's attitude towards him. So he says, "Here, doctor, as a sampling of what I know about you, I'm going to remind you of something. Now, Anthony, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to roll your quick. I need to know what number you get.
Quick. How many? Oh, 2 dice.
4 dice. So you're going to roll 4 dice, and I need to know when you add the roll to your quick approach what the end result is, please. What your
We'll just be back in a
6.
second.
6. Okay, so you got a 6?
Yep.
All right. So, the Uzma begins to blurt out, "Herr Doctor, let me remind you that there are law enforcement agencies that would like to have a discussion with you about." Now, before he's allowed to finish what he's about to say, how do you react?
I don't care.
You don't care. Okay,
Nope.
perfect. So at this point, Anthony, I want to know, are you going to allow Uzma to reveal any information about you? And if so, I need to know what information he's going to be allowed to reveal. So at this point, I am going to invoke an aspect against you to do with your backstory.
Okay.
You can share with
Mason, come here.
you can share with Chris
Mason.
and Greg what information Uzma reveals about you.
Okay.
And you're going to earn a fate point for this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so tell your tale.
Oh, it happened years ago. I was just a little medical student. I got bored. Ethics are a thing, apparently. You get in a lot of trouble for breaking ethics. Who'd have thought? So I took some people at random and did some experiments. It was fun.
And what type of experiments did Heinrich do, Anthony?
All sorts. They were fun. These people, they were much better afterward. Really.
Are we talking physical augmentation, or are we
Of
talking...
course.
Okay.
And mental augmentation. And, well, one guy really wanted a homeopathic alternative to Viagra. So I gave it to him.
Okay. What would you consider that in terms of an aspect if you were going to document that as an aspect on your character sheet? Like, can you give this aspect a name? Actually, I want to have a quick look at your character sheet before you do that because
it was for science.
Okay.
I'm sure it was.
Conveniently enough, Anthony has actually documented it was for science as an aspect already on his character sheet. So we'll leave it at that. So Uzma reveals this information to the three of you on speakerphone that Heinrich is effectively a non-ethical mad scientist that will do basically
So Pete,
anything
do you want the
that
bigger
wants.
Pete?
Okay. So that information has been revealed. So in the last 4.5 hours, you've learned, Hot Maya, just so you know, you've learned that Pete is on the run for a murder that he did not commit, and Heinrich is on the run from certain law enforcement agencies because they have issues with him tampering with human augmentation.
Tampering? I'm not tampering. It's
well,
art.
It's not improving.
So you're doing God's work?
All right. So,
But of course, why wouldn't
Mason says hi.
hello, Mason. So, in response to that, Maya, now that this information has been revealed, Uzma turns his attention towards your original question, and he says, Doctor, if we can even call you that.
I have a PhD and an MD. Of course you can call me doctor.
I
Just don't call me
know,
late
He
for
was
dinner.
talking to me, you know.
I know things that
Oh,
none of you want me to know. What I have just revealed to you about the quack that has the nerve to call
I'm
himself
a Dr.
a
Quack for
man
your
of
information.
science is only the beginning of what I am prepared to reveal. How would your family feel if they knew the truth about you? Find the woman, find my merchandise, and stop asking stupid questions that you already know the answer to. And
Well, if
sudden
we don't have a lead,
You,
we
and
don't
you,
have a
suddenly
solution.
and suddenly the line goes dead. So he's hung up on you guys, okay? So you're now standing in this library. Uzma has revealed that Heinrich is a man of questionable science,
Not
and
questionable. There's
well,
no question about the science. It is for science we do this. It is for science.
so he's revealed that about Heinrich, and he's hung up on you. So you're still left with as many questions as you had walking into that library, save for the fact that you now have. I'm going to tell you that you've determined, based on the research that you did here today, that
Mhm.
somehow whatever Uzma wants is linked to Norse mythology. So what I need to know is
So
if
should I hang myself from a tree and make a sacrifice of myself to myself
so
and
at
gain wonderful powers?
so at this point
No,
now, um,
relax, sit
I'm
down.
gonna say it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon by the time all of this has gone down. Okay.
Mhm.
I need to know what you guys do from here.
Get food. I'm obviously hungry.
More research about this mythology. It has to be connected to a physical item that you want. He's talking about merchandise. It's something.
So again, just to be clear here, okay, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Uzma has hung up on you. He's revealed a deep, dark secret about Heinrich. Okay,
What
and
is so deep and dark about it? I'm
okay,
proud. I did it for science.
okay. So, Maya, you say that you want to do a little more research. I need to know how much more time you are going to spend doing this research, please.
Um,
Bearing in mind that you know this university library is going to shut down in 2 hours. So I do
so
need
I guess 2 hours or
okay.
less,
Okay,
depending on
so
what I
you
can.
you get 2 hours or less to to do the research. So I need to know how much more time you're going to spend doing it.
Let's say for an hour.
Another hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
Uh,
most logical thing to do from here, for in my character's case, is to either investigate to see if there's any type of occult shop or any type of store or whatnot dealing with in this case Norse mythology, specifically things like uh, as I said, occult shop, because obviously this guy's into the occult, so therefore we need something, a solution of some type. We need a lead,
okay.
and let's be
That's
honest, we have no leads. We literally
Um,
have no leads.
that
hence
that
why I
We're
wanted to do more research
that's
yeah.
fair enough.
into that
So
mythology. Right?
for the time being, I would advise that the three of you stick together for the next hour. Okay. So definitely, Maya, you do a little more research. You really don't come up with much. Everything that you've been able to find so far comes right back to the information you found originally.
Mhm.
The most that you find, okay, in the next hour. is an image of what appears to be a tree with a crow perched in its branch. And that's it.
Is it
That's
Hunin or Mugen? Or Hunin or Munin?
don't know. Don't
Okay,
know.
because if it's Hunin, okay, so you two, if you don't know anything about Norse mythology, Odin sacrificed himself to himself,
Hmm.
okay, so that he could gain special powers.
Yeah.
In addition, he sacrificed his eye, so that he could see in the future and learn all
Yeah.
these great secrets. To do so, also one of the things that I guess you can say was uh, not a side effect, but something else was that Odin has two animal familiars,
Yeah.
Hunin and Munin, or
All I'm
Mugen, Hunin and
so
Mugen, whatever. So one of them is called essentially one is memory and one is sight
all
or
I'm,
memory and thought. I don't remember which one.
that,
So
that that's
yeah,
fair. So all I'm gonna tell you right now is Maya, who is your archaeologist,
should know this.
but she doesn't.
Well,
That's BS.
Yeah.
Nah, man, Norse mythology, man. This is Norse
Yeah.
mythology.
Well, at this point, I'm gonna I'm gonna say she doesn't know, and the reason for that will become clear later. But she does another hour's worth of research. She finds this image. It's a tree with a crow sitting in the tree, but she has no idea what it is. So it's
mhm.
now 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You've spent most of the day at this library, and Maya, I would say at this point, your character becomes aware that you're not going to find anything else here.
Yep. So I do that.
Okay?
What the search? Yep.
So, at this point, it's 4 o'clock. Do you want to spend any more time here, or do you folks want to move forward out of the library?
Let's move forward.
Hunger is bad.
Okay.
Maybe let
So,
him eat first.
so fine. You guys grab food.
That's sure.
Okay, you grab food. You sit there for maybe 30 minutes eating crappy university food from Montessori, and you lament over what the hell have we got ourselves into. It's now 4:30 in the afternoon, and you exit the library. You go down the front steps, and at the bottom of the front steps, there's a black SUV parked there. As you descend the steps, two gentlemen get out of the SUV. There's a third individual sitting inside the the SUV at the steering wheel. The two gentlemen that get out of the SUV are plainly dressed, dress shoes, black pants, white shirt, black tie, black um, suit jacket. So, best way to describe them is they kind of look like rejects from the Men in Black. Okay? They approach you on the steps. They look at the three of you and they say, "Here, Doctor, Mr. Gallagher." And sorry, I want to double check before I say this. Your character's last name, Maya, what did we say it was?
Hold on. I forgot. She dates.
Bates. All right. So,
BATE.
here, Doctor, Mr. Gallagher, Miss Bates, would you mind coming with us, please?
Yes, I would.
One
You
of
have
the
a choice?
Why do we want to come with you?
one of
Why
the
do we
two.
care?
That's fair enough. So one of the two individuals looks at you and he says, "Here, Doctor, we have questions for you that require answers. These are questions that should be answered quietly, not here in a public place." Now, as
Walter, kneecap them both. Take out the driver. Let's go.
okay, so you want to engage them in combat. Fair enough. So, great. As soon as they address Heinrich's character about, wanting you to come with them. Heinrich reaches for his gun. What does your character?
No. I will first kick the gentleman in front of me in the nads.
Okay, that's fair. Either way, you're engaging the characters or the gentleman in conflict. Greg, I need to know because this is all going to happen very quickly. I need to know what is your character going to do?
Okay, so just can just go back for a sec. So when I see these guys,
Yep.
none of them look familiar.
Oh no. These guys look like just generic wannabe FBI agent
Muscle, right?
throwbacks
Yeah.
from the Men in Black sort of thing. So yeah, they definitely look like hired muscle. At least that is your first your first guess is that they are hired muscle.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say none of them would be. I was going to say none of them would look like what's his name? A Joseph's man
No,
from before, right?
no.
Okay.
These definitely don't look like they work with Joseph.
Okay. Okay. So I would have figured that out at the beginning too. So.
Yeah. Now, so here's what I need to know right now. I need to know two things. Number one, I need to know what each of you is going to do when Anthony tries to aggressively engage these individuals. I need to know what you're doing, and I need to know what your quick approach number is.
Okay. As soon as after Anthony
Oh, no.
kicks.
So we're not even going to talk about Anthony trying to take this kick right now. So Anthony's character Heinrich is going to make a move to engage them aggressively.
Yeah.
I need to know in terms of quickness what each one of you has for a quick approach. So Heinrich has a 2. Maya, what's your quick approach, please?
1.
Okay. And Pete, what is your quick approach, please?
3.
Okay, so in terms of combat, Pete is going to move faster than either of you. So Heinrich is going to take a kick at one of these guys to take them off their legs.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take him off their legs.
Go ahead. What are you going to try and do?
Kick him in the nads, grab him, use him as human shield. Shoot the second guy in the kneecap, yell at the third guy to get out of the car.
Okay, so he's explained to you what he's going to try and do. I need to know, Pete and Maya, what your characters are going to try and do.
I was going to say, Heinrich, you had a gun on you, or these guys
well,
showed guns?
you knew he had a gun because he took this gun out of your vehicle's glove compartment.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I'm just going to back off. Stay in the background.
Okay, so Maya's hitting for the back.
Dive for cover because she doesn't want to be used as a human shield again.
Okay, so what I want to know first, Maya. Okay.
I know.
So Maya, you look around you quickly.
We're on the stairs. There's no cover.
No, hold on. If she can explain it, it becomes a situational aspect. So I need to know. You're on the stairs. You've been approached by these two guys. They're asking you to get in the vehicle and come with them. Heinrich's character is about to try and, teabag one of them effectively. Okay. You're saying that your character is going to duck behind cover. I need to know how your character is going to approach that.
Okay, sorry. Your audio cut out. Who's ducking for cover, you said?
That's fine. So I'll repeat this again. So you've left the library. You guys are walking down the steps, and you've been approached by these two guys that want you to come with them to answer some questions. Heinrich's character decides that he's going to try and kick one of them in the nuts.
I got that part.
You're saying that you're going to run for cover. I need to know. You look around. You are on a set of stairs in front of a library. What do you see and where do you hide?
Well, let's see. I can stay behind Pete if he's at the forefront trying to help.
So
I know I can't restrain him or grab him.
So you're gonna.
Or I'll look.
so
Oh, and I'll look around for some bushes.
so I want
I
to
go
be.
hide behind
Oh,
them.
okay. Hold on. I want to be clear here. Are you saying that you're going to
There must
use?
be some plan.
Are you going to use Pete as a human shield, or are you going to create a situational aspect where your character seeks cover somewhere? This is what I need to be clear on.
I'm going to create a situation where aspect where I can take cover. I don't think I can actually put Pete in front of me and make him stay there.
Okay, so you're about halfway down the steps. Okay, this is important to this. These two people have just approached you. Heinrich takes a kick at one of them. Your character is going to create an aspect to seek cover. I need you to tell me how your character accomplishes this.
Okay, well, first of all, tell me, you said I'm halfway down the stairs. How many steps
Yeah,
are there? Am I
let's assume that this is about 12 steps up to the library's front doors and you're about 6 steps down. So you are literally in the halfway mark and the library steps are wide. They're like the steps that you would find in front of a big old cathedral, okay? So, look around you and tell me what your character sees halfway down these steps where she can seek refuge to avoid this conflict.
some at the sides of the steps there are the railing that I can jump over and slowly climb down to the ground from the side.
Okay, so you're gonna dive over the side of a railing, and I'm going to assume that you're gonna dive into some bushes. Do you dive or do you
Well,
quickly?
whatever
Sorry, now your audio's cut out
your
just a
line
bit.
I
It's okay. So we're gonna say this again. So
okay.
do you dive over the side or do you quickly jump the railing and drop down?
I will jump over the side, but hold on to the railing from the others from the outside and climb down,
So you
so
drop
I
down.
don't break any bones. Or
Okay, no,
yes, but
that's fair.
carefully, carefully.
No, that's fine. So you're gonna do this carefully. So you know what? I'm gonna say you're probably about, I don't know, let's say 7 feet off the ground because you're halfway up. Your character is how tall, approximately?
Hold on, let me go back.
I believe you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said she's about
5.5
five and a
feet.
half. So
I'm
she
pretty
has
sure.
about 2.5 feet to drop approximately. You know what? I'm gonna ask you to give me a row for carefully dropping to the ground and just quickly let me know what your row. So roll the dice and add your bonus for careful.
Okay, so my careful is at 2 right now, and then my roll is a plus or minus and 2 blanks, so I stay at 2.
Yeah, okay, you're fine. So you drop to the ground, you don't twist any ankle or, you don't screw yourself up in any way, okay? So you've dumped yourself into these bushes, okay? So your character drops into these bushes and she ducks for cover. So your character has been removed from this combat, okay? Um, so Pete, you watched all of this play out very quickly. Heinrich went to take a kick at one of these guys. Maya saw this go down and she basically got out of dodge. So what I need to know is what is your character gonna do immediately?
I was gonna. Okay, the guy who's directly in front of me. So say if. Okay, so I'm standing beside Heinrich, the two guys in front. I'm gonna front kick the guy right in front of me to push him back.
Okay, that's fair enough. So here's how this is gonna go down, guys. I would like each of you to give me a forceful row. and let me know what number you come up with. So, Pete, you have the highest quickness. You're going to go first.
Okay, so that's 4 dice. My forceful is 1. Ooh, not bad. Um, plus 1 minus 1. I basically got 3.
Okay, fair enough. So, you kick this guy. And sorry, just to be clear, where exactly do you kick him in his body, Pete?
Like the gut.
You kick him right in the gut. Okay, so
Or knock the look out of it.
you know what? Give me 1 second here. Oh, you kick this guy. He did not see this coming. He takes one right to the gut. He stumbles backwards, falls down 6, steps, and smashes the back of his head off the sidewalk at the bottom. This guy is not going to be getting back up from this. So, Heinrich, you went to kick this guy directly in the nods. You got a 4?
Ooh,
Okay,
nice.
give me 1 second. This guy doppels over in front of you like any rational male would when he takes a unexpected kick to the jollies. So his hands go down to protect himself. It's too late by this point. Now he's just grasping himself at the groin, trying to ensure that the kick you just delivered does not cause them to fall off.
Fall
Okay?
off. I'd expect it to go up to his brain.
Now,
Okay.
the third guy sitting in the car quickly sees all of this going down. He jumps out of the car to round the vehicle and come at the two of you. Now, it's very important to rewind to the beginning here. So Heinrich said that he was going to kick this guy in the nods as he went for his gun. So Heinrich, I'm going to give it to you. You've got your gun out. You got it out just in time to see this driver jump out of this SUV and go to come around the car. You now have one guy kneeling in front of you, holding on to his crotch, and the other guy's leaped out and he's rounding the front side of the car. I need to know what happens next.
Grab the guy who's, squeezing his nads, nursing his nads.
Sure.
Again, human shield. Human shield.
Human shield.
Grab his gun,
Okay.
if I can. But remember, I have my gun drawn.
Yes.
Again, toward the other gentleman who's rounding the vehicle. Tell
Okay.
him, don't freeze. If you don't freeze, I kneecap him.
Fair enough. So, Pete, you see this go down with Heinrich. He just teabagged this one guy. He's now grabbed him by the head, spun him around, and reached into his pocket to go for his gun. Heinrich, he's not armed.
Doesn't matter.
The only thing you find in his pocket is a dagger.
Take the dagger.
Fair enough.
Souvenirs.
Fair enough. It is not anything to speak of in terms of a dagger. We will get to that in a minute. Pete, your character now sees Heinrich holding this guy by, the back of the head in front of him. He reaches into the guy's inside pocket, expecting to pull out a gun, and ends up pulling out about a 6-inch long bladed dagger. Okay? The other guy is coming around the front of the van. He sees Heinrich do this. I need to know what your character is going to do now. The third guy, by the way, is laid out on the sidewalk at the bottom of these library steps.
After I kick the guy and he buckles down, I'm gonna check inside his coat
Wow,
for.
How? He's all the way down the bottom of the
Oh
stairs.
yeah, you've sent him spiraling down 6 steps for you to go check.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were at the bottom of the stairs. Okay.
Nope, still
After I
halfway.
kick him down, then I'm gonna move towards the other guy who's coming around out of the
Okay.
car.
Okay, fair enough. So,
You're gonna
um,
block my shot.
do
Really?
yep, he
Well, the thing is, whoever.
so Pete, do me a favor, give me a quickness drill. I want to get an idea of how quickly you make it down these steps.
So 4 plus 3. 4, so. I'm at a -1 right now.
Fair enough. All right. So
In fact,
the guy that is coming around the front of the vehicle.
-2.
That's fair enough. So the guy that is coming around the front of the vehicle sees you come charging down the steps. He takes a quick look at his one buddy laid out unconscious, or so he thinks, on the ground. He sees this crazy guy holding the other guy by the back of his head, using him as a human shield. He takes a look
And
at,
taking aim at him. Don't forget I'm taking aim at him.
that's fair. He sees you, Pete, come running down the stairs. He ducks behind the van and makes a move to get in the van. This guy is not intending to stick around and support his comrades anymore. So, you've made it to the bottom of the steps. By this point, the third guy who jumped out of the van is jumping back in the van. Okay? Heinrich, the guy that you're holding, still grasping himself with his left hand, now takes his right elbow and attempts to elbow you, because at this point you're holding him by the head with one hand and you've got your gun with the other hand. I need you to give me a roll for your quickness, please.
Okay. Quickness plus what?
Roll the dice, add your quickness to it. I just need to know.
How many dice?
Well, it's going to be always 4 dice.
Okay.
So 4 plus.
So you roll your dice, you let me know what you got in terms of a row. Okay, so what does that add up to? You rolled 4 in total?
5. I rolled 4 dice. Quickness is 2. I've got correction. 4.
So you've got.
I've got 3 plus. I got 3 pluses and 1 minus.
Okay, so the plus and the minus cancel each other out, which means that you have
Plus 2 is 4.
plus 2 plus your quickness is 4. Okay, so you got a 4. All right. So this guy reaches back to elbow you, meanwhile holding on to himself at the front because what you did to him really friggin' hurt. Okay? He goes to elbow you. You see it coming, and you kind of just move yourself backwards so that
No.
Okay?
Reach under between the legs.
Oh, God.
Monkey steals peaches.
Okay, so tell me how you tell me how you do it. Play it out.
Well, if he's gonna go like this,
Yep.
I'm in this situation here. You know, out, push, under, grab.
Okay.
Essentially, what's gonna happen is his legs are gonna go, woohoo,
Okay.
and he's gonna go face first into the stairs.
I just want to make sure I understand what you just said, because so far what we know is that you teabagged this guy effectively. He's holding on to himself because he feels like.
Which means if Monkey steals peaches, I'm gonna be effectively grabbing his hand that's already down there.
Hold on though.
Oh.
You were holding him by the back of the head as a human shield with one hand, and you had your gun trilling on the guy at the van with the other hand. So what I need to know clearly right now is when he goes to elbow you, you're going to evade it. But where does the hand holding the head go, and where does the hand with the gun go?
Hand with the gun is still with the gun. So technically speaking, I'd be like this, holding him as a human shield. He'd be in front of me, one hand down. He'd be going in like this. I'm assuming he's going to be using his right hand to try and
Yes.
take me.
Yes, he is.
Which means if I see it coming, let loose, push forward, under, and out.
Okay.
So essentially, I'm going to let him go.
So you're going to push, you're going to let go of the back of his head. You're going to push the head forward so he is thrown
He's
off
off
balance.
balance.
You're going to reach down and you're going to grab the low-hanging fruit and do what?
Pull.
You're
Because I'm not just his hand.
Okay.
Sorry, not just the low-hanging fruit. I'm grabbing his hands too.
Okay.
Or his hand there.
Perfect.
In a
do
pull.
do me a favor. Give me a very quick forceful roll. Let me know what you get.
I've got 2.
You got 2. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. So, you definitely go to try and do that. Okay? He falls forward when you let go of his head. Okay? As you're going south, he catches his balance before he falls forward. And instead of falling forward the way you intended him to, he actually catches his balance and makes a run down the stairs. Now he
With
isn't.
his nads kicked in.
He's not
Okay.
running. He's not running quickly. It's more of a limp. Okay. So he's staggering at this point, but it did
downstairs with the nads kicked in.
Yep.
Just kneecap him.
So you're gonna shoot him in the kneecap?
Well, not in the kneecap in this case. Just shoot him in the calf.
You're gonna shoot him in the back of the leg. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You know what? You shoot him in the back of the leg. Give me 1 second here. Oh yeah. You shoot him in the back of the leg. I'm gonna say he made it about 2 steps down from where you originally had him. So he was, about 4 steps from the bottom. You put 1 in the back of his calf. This guy lurches forward, falls down the remaining 4 steps, smashes the front of his face off the sidewalk, about 6 inches away from where the first guy landed. And on a very quick observation, you see blood coming out from under his face. He's laying on his stomach, face first on the ground. This guy's not getting up. So, the third guy now has managed to jump back in the van and he started the vehicle. Okay? Pete, Heinrich just took out the guy he was holding. He's fallen down the stairs and there's blood gushing out from under his face. I need to know what you're doing. The third guy is in the van and he's about to make a run for it. This definitely did not go the way he expected this was going to play out.
Okay, so Heinrich just shot and
He shot the second guy in the back of the leg while he was trying to get down the stairs. The guy lurched forward after taking 1 to the calf, fell down the 4 remaining steps, face first. His head hit the sidewalk face first, and all you see with the second guy now is that blood is coming out from under his face. The third guy is in the van. He's managed to start the van, and you know full well he's going to make a run for it.
I'm going to see if I can race down to the van to open the door before he takes off.
Okay, so at this point, just to be clear, you were at the bottom of the sidewalk, okay? You were about to check the second guy, which is what you previously said, to see if he had anything on him. The third guy's made it into the van, and he started it. I need you to give me a roll for quickness. I need to see how quickly you make it around the van.
So, 1. Oh, shit. One.
Okay, give me 1 second.
The two. I was gonna. Ones and twos are minus.
Awesome. Pete just got ran
That's
over.
is a
Well,
minus. Okay.
Pete
no.
got ran over by a reindeer. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Give me 1 sec. You got a 1? Pete? Sorry, Greg, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, so you got a 1, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you make it around the van. The guy has already put his foot on the gas pedal at this point. So the van door is still open because this is going down very quickly. He jumped into this van, hand on the driver's door, hand on wheel, foot on gas pedal. He's trying to close the door as this van accelerates quickly. You get around the van, okay? As you round the door to grab this guy, the car accelerates, okay? And it accelerates quickly. So you miss him. All you see as this car takes off is you see the door on the van doing this as the guy wrestles to pull it shut and keep control of the van. Okay? So he's gone. So now, here's what you're left with. The van is speeding off. Okay? You have two choices. You can allow the van to get away, or you can choose to try and take a shot at a moving vehicle. Keep in mind, Heinrich has already put one in somebody on the steps of a university library.
What I'm gonna do is the. Okay, so that guy's still alive.
So the
The
guy
one
in
who
the
was.
yeah. So let's concentrate on the van right now. So are you going to try and take a shot at the van, or are you going to allow it to get away?
I'm gonna allow it to get away because there was still one guy alive here.
Two that you know of right now.
Well, two, yeah. So, okay, so one guy conscious.
Okay. So van's got away. One guy is obviously out cold on the sidewalk, as far as you can tell. The other guy is laying flat on his face with blood pouring out from under his face. Okay? And obviously blood pouring out from the back of his leg where Heinrich shot him. So, Maya, your character sees the van take off. You see one guy laid out on his face, another guy laid out on the back of his head. It's now safe for you to come out. Okay? So, Maya, your character emerges from the bushes. Pete, you are standing next to the guy that you kicked down the stairs. And Heinrich is 6 steps up, looking in the direction of the guy that just went face first down the stairs. Let's start with Maya and work our way to Heinrich, and then Pete, please tell me what your characters are going to do now.
Get out of there as fast as possible.
So you're going to make
Cops
a
will be coming
so
along.
you're going to
Not
make a
me.
run for it before the cops show up. All right. So,
Well,
Maya's
the three of us should, yes.
yep. So Maya's character emerges from the bushes and she looks at the two of you and she goes, "Holy crap. We need to get out of here now." Heinrich,
Go down to the guy I shot, tourniquet his leg. You know, after tourniqueting his leg, flip him over, see if he's still alive.
okay. He's still alive, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He's
Okay.
alive. So hold on. He's alive, but when he hit the ground, it looks like he shattered several teeth in his mouth.
Yeah, he doesn't need them all.
So the blood that you're seeing pouring out of him is pouring out of his mouth and pouring out of his nose because when he hit the ground,
He's in recovery position. He'll be fine.
yep. So that's fine. So you're gonna wrap his
Remember,
leg where you shot him.
MD, PhD, baby.
That's fine. So you're
So, yeah.
gonna wrap his leg where you shot him, and
Yep.
then you
Grab him
see.
by the collar and drag him toward Greg's car.
Okay, fair enough.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. So, Greg, Heinrich is dragging this one guy towards your car. The guy that you front kicked down the stairs is laying face up on the sidewalk. Okay. What do you do?
Okay, so the guy who's laying face up, I've already checked his pockets, right? Like I checked him over.
Not yet. You haven't. No. So you
Okay,
made it. You
I'm
made
gonna
it to the
do
bottom
that.
of the steps with the intention of doing that, but then you saw that this wheelman was gonna make a run for it. So it diverted your attention onto the wheelman. So at this point, you have not checked the guy that you front kicked down the stairs.
I'm gonna quickly check him,
Okay. So
and
when you
just gonna,
check
yeah,
him, yep, that's fair. So when you check him, okay, what you find on him is two things. He has nothing on him other than the bladed weapon that was very similar to the one that Heinrich found on the guy that, he was using as a human shield. So, again, same bladed weapon. The only other thing that you'll find on this guy is a slip of paper with a phone number on it. Other than that, he has nothing. It's like a sticky note with a 10-digit phone number on it.
I show it to Heinrich. I found something.
Grab the body. Make sure if it's not dead. If it is dead, grab the body. Let's go.
Okay, so Heinrich, um,
Mhm.
I would advise you that you may want to check this guy uh, to
I
see.
will, but I want to throw him into the vehicle first before I check him.
Okay, so you don't even want to see if he is alive or dead. You just want to
You
throw him.
told me he was alive.
I said the guy you had was alive.
Oh, my guy. Yeah, I told
I'm talking.
Greg.
I'm talking about Greg's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's his problem, not mine.
Okay. So Greg.
I didn't kill mine.
Okay. So Greg, um, here's what I'd like you to do for me, please. Okay. Specifically for your character, I would like you to give me a clever throw.
Oh, we're
One.
doomed.
Okay. You check him. He's dead.
Okay, I'm leaving him.
To the best.
Take the body, idiot. You
Heinrich.
Why do you
take the
want the
body.
body?
Let's go. Take the body.
Heinrich's looking to
Okay,
do
let's take the body.
Heinrich's looking to do some genetic experimentation.
Not genetic. I mean, I've always wondered what a person would look like with 4 arms.
Fair enough. Okay.
And
so,
3 nads.
All right. So you grab this body, which is dead, okay, and you toss it into the back of your vehicle. So here's what's in your car right now, Pete. You have one guy that is bleeding profusely from his face, okay? You have another guy that is dead as a doornail, and then your 3 party members. And again, keep in mind that on the guy that you took the time to search, you found the same bladed weapon that, is what Heinrich found on his guy, and a piece of paper with a 10-digit phone number on it.
Off to Heinrich's house.
Off to Heinrich's house. All right. So the 3 of you are driving off to Heinrich's house. As you drive down the street, you see cop cars coming in the opposite direction. They go zooming by you. Okay, so no worries there, but you can definitely tell that you got away from that library is, in good timing because someone called the cops. All right. So, you get to Heinrich's house. The one guy is dead. The other guy is gushing blood. What?
Oh, by this point, come on. By this point, the
Here-
guy is probably clotted up. He's
Uh,
not going to be gushing anymore.
Well, I mean, you shattered his front teeth at the very least and broke his nose. So
Yeah,
you did up his leg where you shot him. Okay.
yeah. By
You,
logic, I would have made sure that he's not going to bleed himself to death from his face.
all right, fair enough. So I'll give you that. So you kind of patched up his face so that you know he doesn't die before you get him to your place. So
Yeah.
explain this to me now. You've got him to your place.
No,
What
no, no. Well, no, to the big house.
to the big house? Okay. So
Yes.
Maya,
Why would I bring them into my place? No, no, no. Bring them into the big house.
So Maya, you guys drive down this long private road towards what appears to be a very large house in the distance. Heinrich, do me a favor. Can you please describe your dwelling to the other players?
It is a wonderful house. It is built. It was built around the turn of the century, 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. 23 rooms. It's a mansion. It's a beautiful place. It's a place that I like to call home, but I don't live there. But it's a place I like to call home. The windows all have bars on them. The stonework is beautiful. It is, it is a solid building. Um, I don't know what else to say. There is a 6-car garage on one side, but
Okay.
I mean, that's how
So,
we're going to get the bodies in. By the way,
so
just open the
Heinrich,
door.
explain to me your an MD, PhD, so obviously you have some money. But how exactly does your character afford such an extravagant dwelling?
Me, 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 me.
Okay, fair enough. Uh, can you work that into an aspect?
No, I bought the house. I bought the house. I didn't steal it. I didn't cheat for it. I bought the house. It's a
Okay,
very nice house.
okay, fair enough. All right, so you're rolling up to this very large, posh-looking building. Heinrich has
A little old, a little
yeah,
dilapidated, but still good.
Heinrich has said that you're going to move these bodies into the house through the
Through the
garage.
garage.
So one of them is flat out dead. Uh, he ended up, screwing himself up when his head hit the back of that concrete, and that was the end of him. The second guy is very much alive, very much in pain. He's done nothing but cuss obscenities at you the entire drive there. You've now moved him into the house. What now?
Well, it is 3:10 p.m.
Oh, yeah. We'll get there. It's okay.
No, 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 no. I mean, actually, it's actually 3:10 p.m. You wanted to
No,
you
yeah.
had something you wanted to take care of?
That's fine. We'll finish this
All right.
off quickly. We're almost
Tie him
done.
to a chair. Tie his dead buddy to another chair, in front of him.
All right, fair enough. So, you guys move these two into a garage, where Heinrich instructs who to tie them to a chair. Who's going to tie them to the chairs?
The lug. Who else?
Oh,
Okay, so Pete, Heinrich has asked you to tie the dead body to a chair and
No, no,
tie.
no, no. He ties the guy who's still alive to a chair. I'm going to tie the other guy to the other chair. Another chair.
That's fair. And just to be clear, you said you're going to have them face each other.
Of course.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you've tied them to a chair. Okay, the guy that is still alive for the time being is looking at his dead buddy on the other side and cussing obscenities at the two of you. Well, the three of you, including Maya, pardon me. So, what now?
Interrogation time.
Okay. So, who's doing the interrogating?
That would be me.
I was going to say the Mad Doctor.
The mad
Me.
doctor.
Yeah.
Mad.
I'm not mad. I
Okay.
am not mad.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
furious, but I'm not mad.
Okay. So explain to me how this goes down, please.
Well, all I have to do is go get my little black medical bag.
Okay. So you're gonna go get your black medical bag.
Yep.
I need a time frame for how long this is going to take.
Oh, not very long. I left one in the house.
Okay. So you
Yep.
left it in the big house
The
or
big
it
house.
okay.
You know, it's my little emergency kit,
No,
just
that
in case I
that
needed it.
that's fair. So I need to know in terms of minutes based on where the bag is in comparison to the garage, how long it will take you to go get that bag.
Seconds. You keep one in the garage. You
So
always keep an emergency kit in the garage.
all right. So you keep one in the garage. Fair enough. So you turn your back on this guy after telling him, "We have ways of making you talk." Okay?
Really?
Well, you can say whatever you want to say, but you obviously are going to have to go get your bag. Okay? So Pete and Maya are standing there, and this guy's looking at the two of you while the doctor turns his back to go get what he needs to begin the interrogation. And he goes, "We were sent to ask you questions, not the other way around. I
I'll
guarantee
start talking before it gets back.
I guarantee you I'm going to tell you nothing." He says, "As fate would have it, there's always an escape plan. Always. Pete, I need you to do me a favor here, okay? I need you to give me a row, and I'm going to tell you what I need you to give me that row for in 1 second. I need you to give me a row for quick, and I need to know what you get."
Okay, so 4 plus my quick. Okay. Jesus.
Okay, I need
Threes
to.
or nothing.
Pardon me?
Just like threes or nothing, right? Yeah. Awful. -1.
So you got a -1. Okay.
I rolled 4 threes
Okay, that's fine. Give me 1 second
and
here.
5 sixes. 6 and a 1 and a 2.
Okay. So you got a -1. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks at you. He goes, "As fate would have it, there's always an escape plan. My brothers, they'll make you pay for what you've done today." And
How's that an escape plan?
then you see him sort of grinding his teeth. Okay? He's grinding the teeth on the one side like this.
As soon as he does that, can I react or is it 2?
Nope, that's why I asked you to give me that quick
Yeah.
row. He grinds his teeth. He starts to convulse. He lurches to one side, and then white foam starts to pour out of his mouth.
You
If
had
he,
one job. One job. You
but if
had
he
one
was
job.
tied up, how did he
I'm the other way.
It's implanted
Yeah,
in the tooth. It's implanted in the tooth, Maya. That's why you saw him grinding his teeth. So, um, here, doctor, you can check him if you like, but you're smart enough to know this guy's dead. He just joined his buddy, after telling you that his brothers would avenge them.
One job. You had one job.
the other way, Heinrich?
Okay, so you got two dead guys in your garage now. One is spewing foam out of his mouth.
Okay.
What do you do at this point?
Go through the pockets and look for loose change?
Perfect. So, no, that's actually a good answer. So, Heinrich, you begin to search this guy. Okay, you've already taken a weapon off him, but you didn't really do a thorough check, so now you're patting this guy down. Okay, the only thing that you find on him is he's wearing a medallion around his neck. And when you look at the medallion, it matches the picture that Maya found in the library when researching this name.
Okay.
Okay?
Fun. Oh, and by the way, it's autopsy time.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No,
because
hey,
you got to keep the good parts, right?
that
Just in
that's
case.
that's fair enough. So here's what you have now. It's about, we're gonna say you left the library, it was 4 o'clock, this went down. I'd say it took you about an hour to get back to your place. Tied him to a chair, you went to interrogate him, and he decided to kill himself. I'm gonna say it's about 6:30, 7 o'clock in game time now. Okay? What you have learned so far today is whatever's going on somehow is tied to Norse mythology. You now have two very plain looking 6-inch daggers, one that each one of these two guys was armed with. One of the guys had a phone number written on a piece of paper in his pocket. The other guy was wearing a medallion around his neck that matched the picture, or an image of the picture that Maya found when researching this woman's name. Okay? Heinrich is going to autopsy the bodies. What I do need to know at this point, though, very quickly before we put an end to day one, Pete, you're the one holding both the phone and the phone number. Are you going to do anything with it at this point?
I ask Heinrich, and just sorry, I forget your character's name, Chris.
Maya.
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 Maya. Okay. Oops. Okay, sorry, I was on mute. I ask Heinrich and Maya, what do you guys think about calling this?
Are you stupid?
I can block my number and call, but
Are you
Or you
stupid?
can Google the number, reverse look up first. See
yeah,
if it
I can do
reflects
that.
anything.
I'm not going to call it now.
Do not call the number until we can research it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to research the number at this time?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you do it?
Google.
Dark
Google.
web.
Dark web, yes.
Okay, fair enough. It's a common number. When you do the lookup of the number is attached to Crazy Clint's Cafe. It is a business number.
That's odd.
Okay, so it is the number for Clint Dufresne's very questionably located cafe.
So these guys work for Clint.
Well, it looks that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's call it a day.
So, that will bring to conclusion day number one. So, just to recap what you have learned today, you've learned that somehow whatever you find yourself involved in is linked to Norse mythology. Okay. You have been accosted by two individuals. You don't know who they are as of yet. Okay. But when you called the phone number that you found on one of them, it takes you right back to Crazy Clint Dufresne. And you've also learned that this guy, Joseph Uzma, is not afraid to use blackmail to motivate you to accomplish whatever it is he wants you to accomplish. So, what I do need to know at this point is um, the doctor is going to autopsy these two bodies for whatever his reasons may be. Clint is obviously going to be someone you're going to need to follow up with sooner or later on this. Pete and the doc are sharing a domicile together. And Maya, I need to know at this point, does your character feel comfortable returning to her residence, or are you going to bunker down in the same house as Pete, bearing in mind that Heinrich, for some reason, doesn't like sleeping in this house?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay put in the house.
Pardon me?
She said
So,
she's gonna
Stay put
stay
in the
put at the
house.
house.
so you're staying with them or you're going home?
There's a guest room upstairs. Pick one.
I'm gonna take one of the guest rooms upstairs.
Okay, fair enough.
The pink guest room.
Okay, so we've established that Maya's guest room is pink. Okay, so there you have it. All right, so Greg, your character has gained one fate point this game for allowing an aspect to be invoked on you. Okay.
Right.
Heinrich, your character gained one fate point this game for allowing Uzma to invoke an aspect against you and tell your story. Maya, your character spent two fate points. However, you do not fall below your refresh at the end of the game, so you're fine either way. So that's it.
I'm a tree. Yes.
That concludes day one, episode two of the CanGeek Games and Collectibles Fate Accelerated RPG. We are not going to do a game next weekend. We will be back in 2 weeks with our next episode. Until then, if you've sat through this, thanks very much for watching and for joining us here on the CanGeek Games and Collectibles YouTube channel. Take it easy, and until then, ciao.